and welcome to today's speed build. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining us, and if not, then welcome back. So today I am actually doing an apartment renovation for you all, and I'm super excited about this because I don't do apartments very often. Not for any particular reason, to be honest, but I just don't find myself gravitating towards apartments, which is a shame because they're really, really cool. But it means that when I do them, I try and do them as best I can because, yeah, it's not something I do very often. So today, we are building in the 18 Culpepper house apartment, which is a pretty good size apartment, I would say. It's not like super small, but it's also not too like super big. It also is like an okay wall height. By that I mean it's not the absolute tallest wall height ever, so I quite like it. It's a really nice apartment. Now, I decided for this specific build, I wanted to do an observatory apartment. I wanted to do an apartment that was designed for a professor, someone who likes to observe the sky, someone that is very into science, someone that is a professor for a class in college and he actually teaches people. I thought that would be super cool, so I did have in mind that this is kind of for someone who he likes to study like celestial charts and he likes to look for breakthroughs in science. I think he's very eccentric. I think that he spends a lot of his time inventing things, kind of tinkering and trying to come up with different breakthroughs to help with just everything, the world, science, just everything he can. I think that he is very interested in kind of finding out new things, and I think that he teaches, as I was saying, a class in some sort of college or university. I think that he probably teaches some kind of like maybe like physics or something along this line, maybe something that's even a little bit more advanced but along that field. And yeah, I thought that would be super cool. So that is the storyline I had in mind, and that is why we have a huge observatory right in the living room. Now, this was something that I thought of and I was like, that would be super cool because as you can see, I'm going for this kind of like steampunk-esque vibe. Steampunk, what would be the word, like vintage, yeah, apartment. I just feel like it has a very specific vibe to it, and you can probably see that. But when I first added the observatory, I was like, is this too much? Does this work? I felt like it worked really perfectly in this like little nook, so I was really happy that I chose this apartment because I was like, actually this works out perfectly. And yeah, I would say that honestly, even though this isn't like functional in the sense of you can't really use the observatory, I think you can if like you move the chairs ever so slightly forward. But I think that it's just a super cool thing to look at. It's a really nice thing for show. I didn't really have in mind that you would be using it as such. I just kind of had in mind that it's there and like you can kind of imagine that he would use it. This is actually something I wanted to mention though, because as a pet peeve I have. So in this apartment, on top of the observatory, I also added a telescope, and I added the telescope from Werewolves, which is a beautiful telescope. It's so nice. It has that kind of steampunk vibe, really, really pretty. And I added it in, and I knew this anyway, but it was just so sad because when I was playtesting, I was like, oh, like they haven't even changed it. Like they haven't changed this feature. So you can only use telescopes outside. I don't know why that is, because I feel like if you have the telescope near enough to a window, the game should be able to see that and you should be able to use them. But for some reason, you cannot use a telescope unless you're outside. And that really annoyed me because I can imagine this sim like standing at the telescope like at his window and looking at the stars and just like observing things, because I popped it right beside his desk where I imagined he kind of comes up with a lot of his inventions, and I was like, that would be really cool. Like I can so imagine gameplay of this. But yeah, unfortunately that's just something that The Sims doesn't have for a weird reason. I don't know, it seems like there's probably a reason behind it, because I feel like otherwise it would be in the game. But then at the same time, I'm like, really? I'm sure that could be a thing. Like, I'm sure it could. Anyway, I just wanted to mention it just in case you didn't know already, and it is a shame, but nonetheless, I still think this apartment is super cool. I think that having an observatory in the main room is just such a cool focal point. Like, it looks so cool. You can imagine this guy like bringing around a day and like having such a good like topic to discuss. Like, you know, it is literally the elephant in the room. Why do you have that in your living room? And yeah. I just thought it was super cool. Anyway, so with this professor, I actually came up with a name for him, which is weird because I don't do that often, but I thought that his name was Orson Bramwell, which is a very specific name, but I felt like Professor Bramwell has like such a nice sophisticated tune to it, and I was like, yeah, why not? So that's what I have in mind. Obviously, if you want to play around with this apartment, which by the way is already on the gallery, then you can feel free to create your own story, or you can go with this kind of name that I've come up with. But yeah, I had so much fun building this, honestly. This is something that I actually built very, very quickly because, oh, by the way, this is me trying to cover up. There was like a glitch in the floor and I was trying to cover up with books, but it worked. Worked perfectly fine, so it was all good. But yeah, I actually have been working on a big project, like a big video, and it has taken a lot longer than I expected it to. And when I sat down and like started making it, I was like, this is so good. Like, I can't wait to upload this on Saturday. And as I kept going, I was like, oh, this is gonna take me a while. So yeah, I am so excited to get that video out to you guys, like so beyond excited. But I was like, I need a video for today. I need an upload. And so I was like, why not do an apartment? And that's when I came up with this idea, and I'm so happy with it. Like, I'm just so happy with how it turned out. I really, really hope you guys like it. I would love to hear some feedback or your opinion on this because I really like it. But yeah, if you want to know kind of what I'm working on at the moment, feel free to join my Discord. There should be a link in the description. Or you can also join my channel memberships where I have posted a few sneak peeks kind of indicating what my new videos are going to be. But yeah, no like pressure at all. But yeah, that's just an option if you're interested. Also, my Discord is totally free. That's just something that you can join and chat if you would like to. But anyways, so we have moved on to the kitchen. Now, I really like how this kitchen turned out. Again, I was leaning into the more steampunk industrial vibe here, so I was kind of going for that kind of like natural wooden countertop vibe with the metal cabinets. I end up having like a few pipes and things in here. I also took like 10 years to pick a wallpaper for some reason. I will say that's something that I struggle with most, and I think I've mentioned this before. But when it comes to builds, a lot of the time my biggest or time consuming thing that I do is pick the wallpaper and the flooring. I just, for some reason, sometimes cannot decide what I want, and I will switch between so many things before I finally settle with what I settle with. I did this for the bathroom actually, you will see when I move on to the bathroom, but it went through a lot of changes because I was like, wait, I want to do this, and yeah, which is weird because normally with bathrooms don't really care, but I wanted to do something a little bit different from my usual bathrooms because I'm probably sick of seeing the usual 2x3 bathrooms that I always do, so I made it slightly bigger and I tried to add a little bit more clutter and just make it feel a little bit more lived in. So yeah, hopefully it looks okay and in tune with this build. But I had so much fun cluttering up this kitchen. Now, kitchens are one of my favorite rooms to do. They always have been. I don't know exactly why. I want to say, if I was to think, probably just the amount of clutter that you can add to them, and probably just that you can make them look really lived in really, really easily. I think that with The Sims, they definitely have done well in providing us with packs kind of surrounded by kitchens. By that I mean we have like cottage living, which has a lot of furniture for kitchens. We have the country kitchen kit. We have that new kitchen kit, which I can't remember the name of. We have the Home Chef Hustle game pack. Is that a game pack? Correct me if I'm wrong. No, it's not a game pack. It's a stuff pack. And then we have another one. We have it's like it's where we got like the kind of more sleek kitchens, cool kitchen stuff. So like we have a lot of stuff surrounding kitchens. So I feel like they are just so easy to decorate. And with that being said, I do think we need more kits for some other things, or maybe some new expansions, or I don't know. I think we need more game packs. We haven't had a game pack in a while now. We obviously got werewolves a little while ago, and then everyone's kind of been saying since werewolves, oh, we need another one. And I feel like I agree, like we need another one. I think game packs are really good. You have that kind of like fun bite-sized amount of gameplay and items, but it's not so small that it's like kit size, and it's not so large that it's an expansion size. I feel like it's just a really, really good size of like gameplay and new aspects and stuff. And also that was another thing with game packs, you got like worlds with them normally, and you got careers, and you got like all these different things, and I feel like we need them. We need to bring them back, okay? I'm just rambling on at this point, but we need game packs, okay? Anyways, one day I will be able to make a voiceover without rambling about random things, but until that point, you're just gonna have to stick with it. But anyway, we are still cluttering up some of the kitchen. I added a lot of shelving throughout this whole build. I had so much fun adding shelving and cluttering things up. I think with apartments, because you do have such limited space, it's so easy to clutter things up, and like, I feel like, I don't know, it's just nice to be able to kind of build up the space that you have with shelving and kind of create extra spaces that you maybe didn't notice. So yeah, I love that. Now I am going back to the living room here, and this is where I decided to add a custom fireplace, which I do end up swapping out that window for the one from Snowy Escape. No, it's not Snowy Escape, is it? It's a different pack. But it's kind of similar vibe with the window. I actually can't remember what pack it's from. I'm trying to look now. Oh no, wait, it is Snowy Escape. Just ignore me. It is Snowy Escape. I should have trusted my instinct. But yeah, I used that one, which I thought looked so good. Custom fireplace is honestly really easy. I mean, this is like a super simple one. I'm sure there's more like complex ones that you can do, but I pretty much just created a very tiny room, popped a little fireplace in there, and then I put a window. And this does function in game because you're able to like turn on the fireplace anyway, so I think it works pretty well. So yeah, hopefully you like that. I was gonna originally use like a normal fireplace, but I was like, we have a lot of open space, like I don't really know what I would fill this with. And also, although he is a professor and he probably makes like, you know, like a decent amount of money, I didn't want him to have this super like sleek, I don't know the word, like I didn't want it to feel too open, too rich. I wanted it to feel more vintage and homey and cozy, even though it definitely is more on that kind of you know, like higher end scale. Like this definitely is not a cheap apartment or anything. I don't know, I just wanted to bring across that industrial vibe. I wanted to bring across that kind of steampunk, and I feel like if it was open plan, well, it is open plan, but if it was more open plan, you know what I'm saying, it just wouldn't have worked as well. But anyway, yeah, I felt like the fireplace was a really good divider. I end up on the other side putting a dining table. We also have his desk. We have the telescope that I was talking about that unfortunately doesn't work, but you know, it's still there, still looks super sweet. Now here's me cluttering up the shelving above the bookcases. This was honestly kind of difficult to do because you can't really snap stuff to the top of these, and also nothing was snapping to the actual shelves, which was really annoying. So I had to like individually do everything, which was fine, but like it did take me quite a while, so forgive me for the kind of repetition with this footage. I did also add a lot of fairy lights to these bookshelves, which I love so much. I didn't add any on the second shelf because, funnily enough, I did it off camera and it looked very cluttered. You have to believe me, I don't know why, it just like it looked too much, so I decided to just go with the 3 rows, which I think looks really nice. That was another thing. I wanted this place to feel like it was lit up a lot by lamps. I can't speak today. Lamps. By lamps and lights and little trinkets and things like this, instead of being lit up by big overhanging lights. I just feel like it brings in that cozy feel. So yeah, you have to let me know. I honestly love hearing your feedback. I feel like I say a lot like, let me know about this, let me know about this, but I love it. Like, I know I talk about it a lot, but I really do. I love the feedback that you guys give. Like, it's so sweet. I read the comments and I'm like, oh, that is so cute. Like, I love hearing what you guys think. And I also love another thing with my Discord. A lot of people send in things that they've done, like a lot of builds that other people have done, and it's honestly so cool. I feel like I noticed it actually. I was looking through my shell challenge submissions today, and everyone, obviously you're all building from the same shell. If you don't know, I had done a shell challenge, I think like in June now, and it's now August, and I was getting around to finally looking at them because I'm hoping to make like a video or a short of some kind so that I can review the kind of top 5. But when I was looking through them, I was looking through and I was like, you know, we all had the same shell to go off of, and everyone's builds are so incredibly different. It's so cool like to see that, because I feel like a lot of the time when I'm building, I'll be like, oh, but is this really basic? Like, have a lot of people done this? Like, is this a little bit boring to watch and things like this? And I find when I watch other people, I never get bored, because I'm like, no, like, everyone's so different. Everyone designs things in their own way, and I love it so much. Like, all the YouTubers I watch, they all design things so differently, but they all do it in such a beautiful way. It's just, yeah, I don't even know why I'm rambling on about that, but I love it. And I think that it's something that I love when it comes to, as I was saying, like my Discord, when people send their builds in, and I'm like, wow, I never even would have thought about that. I never would have thought about doing this. There was someone in my Discord recently who had done like layered windows, as in like they put in a window and then they put another window on top of it to make it look like a kind of custom window. It looked so cool. I had never thought about doing that before. And yeah, it looked absolutely amazing. I don't want to say their name just in case they don't want me to, but of course, if you're watching this, feel free to say in the comments that was you. But yeah, like literally so cool. And yeah, I feel like it's cool. It's cool to like learn from other people. But anyway, I am just talking about such random things not to do with the video, so let's talk a little bit about what I'm doing. So I did finish up the dining room, and I am now working on the little desk area. Now this little area, it's very cluttered, it's very cozy. I do end up rearranging it just a tad, but I love this. I love how it turned out. I feel like it feels like it belongs to a professor. Like, it just has that vibe with it. I love the books. Adding it in these kind of like debug books is a really good way to make your builds feel a little bit more unintentional, I feel like, because instead of using the actual bookshelves, you're using something that's like a different asset in the game. Also, your Sims can actually pick up those books and walk around and read them. It's actually quite annoying because sometimes they lift them up and put them back on the bookshelf, and I'm like, no, they're there for the clutter. They're there to look good. Like, you don't understand. But yeah, that's just me wanting to clutter absolutely everything up. Like, you know, that's a me problem. But anyway, this is where I end up putting the telescope, but I don't think I add it till the end, so you'll see that a little bit later on. Added some extra seating. I think I had some paintings and stuff in the dining space, and yeah, some plants. This house has a lot of plants. I don't know why. It gives that kind of natural vibe. I don't know. This isn't a natural vibe apartment, but I don't know. I love the look of plants in apartments. I also feel like green, like the green plants go really well with the kind of brown tones that I have going on. So I felt like it worked pretty well. But yeah, I think we're going to be moving on to the bedroom very soon. And something I've not mentioned, I do include a little like laundry space. So I think I'm just about to move on and do that next. I just kind of thought it would be nice like to include everything for your Sims. So I was thinking, what else could I add in here that people might want to use? And I decided on that. I do know that a lot of people don't like laundry day. So I did think that. I was like, maybe people aren't going to want to play with it. But if I'm not mistaken, I think you can disable it, because when I did my... Was it Not So Berry? There was a playthrough that I was doing, and okay. I need to tell you two things. So, first of all, the laundry day was such a pain because my Sims would like just throw their clothes on the floor, and then like the laundry basket would be full, but then also the dryer would be full, and then like everything was full, and it was impossible, which was crazy because like I felt like I had loads of laundry baskets and I had everything I needed, but it just, you know, it's The Sims, so what did I expect? But on top of that, so the dad of my family, or like the dad of that heir, had died, unfortunately, so he drowned, which was not good, and he came back as a ghost, which I was like, great, this is really good, because now my Sims, like, you know, they're not going to be sad. But because he drowned, he carried water around everywhere, so like he spilled water all over the house all the time, which meant my mother to my heir had to keep like mopping up all these puddles on the floor, and on top of that she had to like frantically do all the washing up, and she was just so sad all the time and just so fed up, which I completely understand. And I was like, this isn't worth it, like it's not worth it. I felt so bad, but like, why is that a thing? Anyway, my point was that I feel like these are features that you can turn off, and I think I did turn off, I think, or maybe I just turned the game off and never looked back, I don't know. But anyway, I feel like there is certain things you can turn off in game, because I'm sure you can turn off Bust the Dust, right? Like if you don't want to have dust everywhere, and that's something I've never bought, Bust the Dust, and that's why, because I'm like, I just can't deal with it. Although something I really like about it is it makes the floor like shine, like little shiny things come up to be like, oh, the floor is nice and clean, which is honestly quite nice. But yeah, I feel like it's probably not worth it to get it just for that reason, and also I guess to get hoovers, because it makes everything feel lived in. But then I'm also like, I feel like a lot of people don't have this pack, so would there be any point in me using a hoover, like getting this pack just to use a hoover, and then people don't even use the pack? You know what I'm saying? I don't even know. I don't even know what I'm saying. Anyway, we've moved on to the bedroom. Now, this room, I think it's so cute. I tried to make it like a super clean aesthetic. That painting on the wall, I was thinking maybe that's where he like went to university. I thought that was really cool. It kind of looks like a university building, so I thought that was pretty nice. He's got his dresser. He ends up having a chair. I think also like a little... It's not like a jewellery stand. It's the one that came with the apothecary table, so it has like a bunch of stuff in it, like little trinkets and things, so I added that to the dresser. And yeah, just small little details in here. It was weird because at first I was like, okay, I'm gonna clutter up this room and stuff, but I actually felt like he didn't give me this like very overly cluttered vibe. He gave me more of like a neat, put together, eccentric, uh, I don't know, professor. Yeah. Instead of kind of like crazed and messy and stuff. He just doesn't give that vibe, especially considering the way the rest of his apartment looked. I felt like it would have been out of character for his room to be super messy. This was the little like box I was talking about, by the way. So as you can see, it has like little trinkets and stuff. I think that came with the fairy expansion, the one that we just got. Yeah, super cute. I really like that item, and I don't think I'd used it yet, so it was nice to use it in here. I think when I loaded into this game, I actually give him like the archaeology aspiration, which literally isn't what I had in mind, but I'm sure that was just the one that I clicked on. And then I was like, maybe he does that, but then I was like, that's a lot of hobbies. Like, that's a lot of things. I feel like that's too much. But yeah, I think for me, I've always been interested in archaeology and stuff. Like, that's something that I love. Like, I would love to do that. So I just seen that. I didn't actually know it was an aspiration. I seen it and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna give that to him. Although, to be fair, I feel like with your Sims, you can give them any aspiration. Like, it doesn't actually need to be in accordance to their career and stuff. It's just much easier to obtain them if their job revolves around it, you know? But yeah, that wasn't even worth mentioning, but I just thought, why not? I'll just let you know. But anyway, we've moved on to the bathroom. So this room goes through a lot of changes. As I was saying, I decorated it in quite a lot of different ways. This was a prime example of me not knowing what wallpaper to use, not knowing what flooring to use, and just like struggling. But ends up looking super cute. So I actually end up going for a much lighter vibe. It's kind of like more of a white color scheme, as opposed to the rest of the house, which I thought contrasted really nice because the rest of the house has a kind of darker brown and like grey color scheme, whereas this is more white and a little bit lighter and vibrant. So I thought that was good. I'm hoping that the apartment in general doesn't come across too moody, but I really like it. Like, I'm just so happy with this apartment. Again, you guys will need to let me know, or if you end up using it, I would love to hear what you think of it. But yeah, just had so much fun with this. But yeah, you can see the bathroom has already went through a few changes, but this is when I started adding. So this is the tiling from the new Enchanted by Nature expansion pack. So gorgeous, it worked beautifully, and then I started to lighten up the walls and such, and I just love it. It came together so nicely. I think after this you will see me add the telescope, so you kind of see what I mean, because I put it right beside a window. Like, I mean, we can use imagination, but I just really wish that it was functional. Like, Sims team, if you're hearing this, please let us use, what are they called? Telescopes. Please let us use telescopes inside, okay? That's all we're asking for. That's all we want. I mean, okay, I feel like we want a lot of things, but that's a small thing, okay? It's just a small little tiny thing. But anyway, we are coming to the end of this video, so I do just want to say a massive thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, please make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, because it really helps me out. But thank you all once again, and I will see you next time. Bye!